there seems to be a movement of army right now in our country. So could you tell me what is going on with why did China, let's get started with China, but China hid this thing from us. And is there a war coming? What's going on? Do you have any inside information?
Well, with regard to the Wuhan epidemic, Pastor, it's clear that China has known for many months about how serious this is. And yet, we really didn't get meaningful word until the end of December, early January. And of course, then President Trump wisely shut down transportation flights from China, which I will argue in hindsight will have proven to be a very decisive, important decision. But yes, we are in a war with China. One of the books I wrote a couple of years ago, Alliance of Evil, is about the new Cold War with China and Russia. Everybody knows about the cyber problems with China. A lot of people know about the economic challenges with China and certainly the arms race around the world. But it's the ideological, the fact that they use propaganda, that they lie about what's going on in their own country, much less the spread of the, coronavirus, is something I think is indicative of not only the nature of that communist regime, but what they have in mind around the world. I think your listeners need to appreciate that China has been reaching across the world. Last month I was in Europe and then also in the middle of the Pacific, working with my day job, my Army job. And in Europe, I heard about large purchases of major facilities, ports by the Chinese. They want to take over as much as they can in that part of the world. Now, we've already heard about that from obviously Sri Lanka, along with Pakistan and various places in the Mediterranean and Africa. And then, of course, we're hearing about it all over Asia and the Pacific. So they're doing that. They're purchasing things. And, of course, they're purchasing major real estate places in this country. Now, this is part of their economic agenda. But along with their economic agenda, they have this ideological thing. And not only do they lie, cheat, and steal, stealing our intellectual property, but they take advantage of their propaganda to really turn people in a way to believe that they're doing right. Just last night, for example, the Russians and the Chinese were delivering supplies to the strapped country of Italy because of the coronavirus. Now, what are they doing this for? Well, they're doing this because they know that they have a very bad public relations rap because China is being blamed for this. So these are issues of some consequence. They're doing their best to turn the conversation away from them because much of the West is really targeting them. But yes, there is a Cold War. It is very serious. And coronavirus, I think, is just really a reflection of how insidious this regime can be.
They didn't even notify us until it was too late. The cost of this virus is, do you have any idea, the trillions and trillions of dollars of cost and the lives of thousands of people?
Yeah, it's going to fundamentally, obviously, set back the medical system for years. It's going to redesign the economies of the world, I would argue. One of the things that I wrote in my book, The Deeper State, was about globalism and where globalism wants to take us. And of course, it's because of globalism that we're strapped in terms of medical supplies because we've become overly dependent upon the Chinese. And of course, here in the last week, the Chinese have threatened to cut off any supplies coming our way. But they'll use it to leverage, obviously, the Europeans, as I mentioned moments ago. So this is very serious. I tried to warn a couple of years ago about how serious it is. And now I think we're beginning to recognize that this might be out of hand.